Hey, Fiber friends! It's Michelle. Welcome back to another episode of Stashdown, an ironic knitting chat. Welcome to our Wisconsin winter wonderland. Um, yeah, first snow in the new old house with the crazy downward slanted from the street level driveway into the garage. We got about a foot of snow over Thanksgiving weekend last weekend while we were in Michigan. And I love Tom. He is my person, but I started hearing about that snow coming about a week before our trip. Anyway, legitimately, we came back to a foot of snow or so, um, and our beloved Oregon plow plowed in a mound about waist high at the end of our driveway, which just went downhill from there with most of a foot of snow on it. Thankfully, my good friend who was here taking care of our dogs on Saturday, because we got the snow here for the most part, I think Saturday, and then it started to come in Saturday night and into Sunday in Michigan where we were. She happened to run into our neighbor. I'm still not sure which neighbor, so I'm not sure who to thank, but they were out plowing their own driveway and sidewalk area. We are on a corner right on Main Street, so we have a we have a lot of sidewalk on two sides of our house. So that neighbor, and I'm not sure which one it is, and I need to find out so I can profusely thank them, was kind enough to at least plow out our sidewalks. So that would have been another hour. It took us almost 2 hours to clear out the driveway, get the area from the deck steps in the back cleared out and down into the dog area that we have kind of fenced off with some like short sort of semi-decorative wrought iron looking. We have a little run area out there for them to kind of run out on the off the deck and go into it. We can close up if we want to, but it just you just pound it into the ground. It was really easy to put out there. But we shoveled all that out so they're little guys, little pug and puggle. So it was pretty deep for them. First real snow of the year. So anyway, that's been my day. But I'll tell you, so I made this sweater, what, 2 years ago? I think I did this. Yeah, it was about 2 years ago. This is Matawaka by Lincoln Newman. I love this sweater. I had done a few sweater workshops at the Sausier here in Verona with my friend Sarah, who shout out Sarah if you happen to catch this, but Sarah Peterson. I think this was the third workshop I did, and I had been noticing people using this particular yarn for the other two that we had done, and I was using Let Lopi for the other two that I did. The first two of the three workshops that I did, like one after the other. This is Scout, right? By Kelburn Woolens. Right? I made sure to look up the pattern name and the designer. Pretty sure it's Scout. But anyway, it had like almost like a velvet looking quality to the patterns, to the the different yoke patterns that people were doing in the other sweaters that we did, and I was like, wow, that really looks cool. And I was trying to be a Lelopi fan, and I'm not saying I'm like off the wagon, because I have the first sweater that I did that was a colorwork sweater like this, and it's the Hopi sweater. Is it also by Lincoln Newman? No. Anyway, I put that on. I took that with me to Michigan for the Thanksgiving weekend, and I wore, I think, the same shirt underneath it, or one like it. It's just like this, only it's like a burgundy color. And I did not, and I've worn that sweater a few times and been like, no, it's not itchy. Oh my God, I just wanted to just like, I needed like somebody, like multiple people all around me just scratching my whole upper body. Like it was so itchy. and it was cold. It was keeping me warm, but I was like, when I've worn this before, have I put like other layers on underneath it? Or I don't know, because I can't believe that this long sleeve shirt is a good quality. It's a Duluth Trading Company shirt. Um, it's not like super thin or anything, but I could still feel the pickiness through it. I was really surprised because I wore that up north this spring when we went up north in May when it was still real cold up north, pretty cold up north. It was a cool weekend to boot, just in terms of it was nice down here, but it was cool up there. Um, and I don't remember. I remember just feeling like, oh, I'm wearing this sweater and it's keeping me warm. That's fine. I don't remember being that scratchy. But God. So today when I put this on, I was like, more of the sweaters that I'm planning. Although yeah, more of the sweaters that I'm planning that I already have Walopi for. I need to like dive into. I have a couple of Lincoln Newman books. Her patterns are awesome. I need to just decide on the ones in there that I want to do and just like get more of this. More of this, please. This is nice and warm. I can have multiple house sweaters to keep myself warm in this cold old house. Not be picky. Not be itchy and scratchy all the time while I'm wearing it. So anyway, that was the saga of the winter. Winter has come. Winter is no longer coming. Winter is here. And I love it. I gotta say, a good, deep, honest to God snow at the end of November, first part of December, and so now it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I mean, this is how it's supposed to be. We're all like, oh, it's snow, but honestly, if it was 50 degrees out Thanksgiving weekend, we'd all be like, this isn't right. This just isn't right. So we were outside breaking our back, practically literally. Tom's chiropractor really like gave him the business today about his back's pretty screwed up from um, removing the snow that Oregon plow put in front of our driveway. Not gonna let that go. Yeah. Wherever I was going with that, this is the weather we're supposed to be having, and so I'm cool with it. If it's going to be cold, by God, it better be pretty out. Better look great. Better make the lights pop and all that stuff. So that's the other thing. We need to get. I cannot believe we had nice enough weather after Halloween, and I did not get my tail out there. And just, it's like we had one string of lights. Like, take them down, and then we can put up our other lights. I have the holiday lights that like are the ones where you just like they're like a sheet of lights just throw over the bush. I should just get those out. Do it. It should be pretty quick to replace. But now it's cold, so maybe this weekend we'll have at least, I don't know. We just need to bite the bullet and get out there and change the lights out. Get the purple light out of the porch the porch fixture so it doesn't look, we don't need to keep going for a creepy vibe, much as I like it. So yeah, that's what's been happening recently. This is a recent thing. I'm trying this out. I decided to get a Bluetooth microphone to see if it helped with, when I am not always like consistently talking loud enough to hear and I trail off and, for dramatic effect and stuff. And then I listen to myself and I'm like, what did you say? Stop mumbling. Quit trailing off so no one can hear you. We'll see if this does the trick. I did some sort of tests. The odd thing was that I didn't know about this because, I don't know about anything like this. Once you plug the thing into the phone that talks to this and, like if this, I'm going to be bummed if something happens because if there's some kind of disconnect between this thing and the thing plugged into my phone, there's going to be no sound. And I won't be able to find that out until after I listen back and be like, half of my video had no sound. But if I have it all on and I have the microphone like down here and I'm talking, no sound whatsoever until I bring the microphone right up to my mouth, and then you can hear. So, but I was also not getting, at least when I'm on my sound checks, I wasn't getting a lot of rubby noises. So hopefully every time I do something like that, you're not getting on my sweater. All right. I'm just gonna do one. Yeah, I like here and there I found a loophole to not buying yarn, and that is gift knitting. I think I kind of talked about the things that I was picking up for socks for Carter, socks for Emma, socks for Will. I think I finally landed on a black and gray, or red and blackish grayish, you know, Washington State Cougars colors. Sock yarn for Will. Unfortunately, it is a fingering sock weight, but he actually really liked the other that I was getting. I think I showed that before. That was the Blackjack Randall colorway from Bumblebee. That I was worried he would think was a little bit too like actually browns, and so he actually really likes that. And so those are going to be his DK socks, and he's going to get some more true like red and black. I get a couple pair. I don't know that I'll get them both done for Christmas. It's starting to back up a little bit, I gotta say, because I've been kind of doing my own thing here and there and doing some other knitting stuff and not like hardcore. I did the 3 hats, and I think the last time I said, maybe I didn't say it here, but the 3rd hat is it's the one with the orcas on it. I can't remember that. Oh, not Olympia. Wait, is it? Anyway, there's a whole lot of duplicate stitch on that one, and it's a lot of the outlining. So it's gonna look a lot better. Looks pretty good, but it's gonna look way better with the duplicate stitching, which I started that as soon as I finished the hat. I started the duplicate stitching, and I was like, it's not going so well. And I was having, sort of PTSD from all the trees on the Washington hats in the car when that wasn't bad. It's just that I was surprised at how much it took, like as long to do the duplicate stitch as it did to do the hats. I probably could have done 4 Washington hats if the duplicate stitch hadn't taken as long. But, I do say thank you that I didn't have to deal with 3 colors at a time, because I can do that, but I have to not duplicate stitch it, especially on a smaller circumference like a hat. Like when I was doing these, there's some places where it's 3 colors, and it gets fiddly. It does. So if you can just do 2 colors and do some duplicate stitch, cool. But it's a lot of duplicate stitch on this one. So that one's in jail a little bit. I'm going to finish the 4th one and then come back and finish up. And I am going to make the 4th one with bigger needles because I'm getting Gage, but I think she's not making the hats. There's only one size of hat. She does not have hat sizes in that book that I've realized now. And the first 2, they fit me. I have a big giant head. It is abnormally large, and I don't, I'm not like gonna sit here and go, it's because I have a big brain. It's because I just have a big freaking head. And I do, like, I had the biggest hat in marching band when we had to have hat sizes. If I've bought a sized baseball cap before, it's, I don't know, like 7 3/4 or some damn thing. It's huge. Like, I have a big head. So I'm hoping that Zach, Alex, Angie, and Harry don't have big giant heads. And I'm going to block them too. I'm hoping they block and I can get them a little bit bigger. But I wish now that I had some. Well, I mean, I used to have some of the styrofoam heads. I don't even know, those have been long gone. I haven't had those in a long time. But maybe let's see if they have them at Michael's or something, because those would probably be a good thing to block. I know they say like balloons or whatever, but I don't know. I think, why not just get a couple styrofoam heads and use those to stretch the hats over? More of a true head shape kind of thing. Anyway, leave me a note in the comments if there's something that you like to use for blocking hats that's not a balloon, because I know about the balloon trick and I've never tried it, but I usually don't block hats. I've made a few hats before and they haven't been questionably, it's going to be too big or too small, or not too big, too small, whatever. But I'm hoping. It's Malabrigo for the most part. Most of the yarn is Malabrigo yarn. And the Washington hats I didn't feel like were crazy small. And that was from her book. I don't know. I'm just a little worried that I put all this work into those hats so far, and they won't wear them because they're too small. And they're kind of fashion hats anyway, honestly. They're not like something if you really like, I wouldn't necessarily wear one to go skiing in. I would want to do something that doubled up and was thicker, like the I'm doing Harlow flip hats for Carter and Emma, and I just finished mine. Tom has one. Those are nice and cushy. I was kind of hoping the guys would pick those instead of the national parks hats, but I did want to do some of those. I mean, I bought the book, so I'm yammering and yammering on about what I'm, stuff and things. I mean, it's all knitting related. That's why we're here, right? But I'm only going to talk about. I'm sitting here looking at some Inglenook fiber braids that I picked up. I don't think I talked about those, but maybe I did, so I'm just gonna not talk about those. The one purchase that I made, not because I don't have yarn for it, because this is totally a scrap buster, um, but I wanted to do for a long time is the sea glass sweater, the long sleeve one. And in fact, a bunch of us in our, one of the knitting groups in the area that I frequent, knitting friend group. God, by pre-pandemic, I feel like maybe it was after the pandemic. It's just one of those pandemic time warp things. We all talked about doing it, and we kind of did a yarn exchange for part of the yarn that we were going to do. So they would have been like all using the same yarns, but obviously we would have utilized them differently, and everybody's sweater would have turned out differently. So I have like some yarn like that, and maybe I'll do a tee out of that because it wasn't a ton of yarn. But Farmer's Daughter Fibers just started talking about this particular one, and so of course I was all like hearts eyes emoji over their kits, and so I did get one. But I think they were doing kits and they were sort of advertising them as they would be for a short sleeve version, and I was like, that particular one I wanted to do a long sleeve one. I just wanted to. I have a lot of other tees that I'm going to do or have done or have yarn to do another one or whatever, and I just wanted it to be a long sleeve, so I wanted to make sure I had enough. And I'm also doing that whole struggle thing with I still think I'm picking, even if I'm looking at measurement wise, and I don't know if it's actually a gauge problem. I think I'm getting gauge, but I'm not, and so it's a little bit even bigger still. But I've also lost a fair amount of weight, and so kind of trying to find the sweet spot of where am I size wise, liking the fact that I can go down at least one sweater size. And I think based on the sweaters that I have now, because of some of the yarns that I've used and stuff, they do grow, and so then I didn't, I could have probably gotten away with another size down, which in some cases means a skein or two less yarn. Yeah, I'm kind of trying to figure out where things are. So it was a kit of 5 skeins. That wasn't enough for me. I had to pick a couple other skeins to go with those 5 skeins to make it extra. I did that partly because there were a couple of different kits that I liked in terms of the color choices. Of course, I went with ones that are kind of like on theme with, the fallish colors. Like I bought a ton of versions of at Wisconsin Sheep and Wool this year. But I liked that some of the other ones were kind of also veering into the purples more and maybe the cooler colors. So I picked an extra skein of variegated that kind of pulled out and kind of went into also some purples. But then I was like, not there really isn't anything that's that light, and you kind of need something in there that's light also to kind of really pop out. So I think I have seven colors going into this sweater now. But they are all the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Bear Paw Sock, which is 20% yak, 10% nylon, 70% superwash merino. So in no particular order, because these are all going to get switched up in a 1x1 color work extravaganza. This one is called Mars of Us. I feel like the way I have the light set, this is reading a lot more, almost like a coral, but it's not. It's like a, let me see if I can. I don't know. Maybe that's true. Anyway, so there's that color. And then Aries. This is some of their zodiac. So this one is kind of variegated, kind of tonal. I would say more tonal, even though the light part's not actually really that red. Now, if you put these two kind of near each other, you kind of see they're real similar, but one's more orangey, one's more. It's really reading like tomato, but I feel like it's more of a rust. Anyway. And this one is the one that's the most on the purple. No, it's not. Yeah, this is kind of like not really purple. It's called perma, and again, it's really reading a different color. It's really reading in real life. It looks like it's got the black wash over it. I think that's what it's called when you dye it and then you dye it again and it like gets like a black halo. See that? My face is totally covered up, so stop trying to. You know what I'm saying? So that's fairly true, I would say. So here we go. It's so far. This was also part of the original. This is Leo. So definitely variegated here. I feel like this is showing up to the party lighter than in real life. So now we got that situation. And last but not least, wait, hold on. Nope. In the original group is Sunstone. So more tonal than some, but not variegated. So this is the original pack O yarn kit. And then I decided I'm going to be extra and throw in this variegated Scorpio because we needed more of the zodiac in there for my taste. This one's definitely variegated and pulls a nice purple in there. And honestly, it makes more sense in real life. And then hopefully this reads as light as it does in real life. This is Sunny's. It's kind of a, yeah, see in real life it's richer and deeper than that. It looks like it's popping out more yellow. This also looks like it's got that black wash on it. I don't know if you can tell or not. Just gives it some depth. So that's going to be my sea glass. You know, every one of them is pretty, except I need to flip this one around. That's tweaking my last nerve that one was all funky. I think that's going to be really pretty sea glass. I'm very excited. God bless Shop Pay. That's what I have to say. Okay. Shop Pay is actually the devil. All right. So I kind of did have an idea for a topic since we're getting to the end of the year 2025. I have talked before about I set knitting goals. It's probably not like unique to me at all. I'm sure it's not unique to me at all, but I've started doing that. This year was supposed to be a pair of socks a month. We're closing in on that. Oh, here's the other thing I had for show and tell. Where'd you go? So let's see. I showed, what was it, six or seven pair that between the beginning of the year when I finished a few pair that I had started, and that was included in my completing a pair of socks a month goal for 2025. showed all of those, and then the ones that I did during September and October, Socktober. Man, that was a push. I still have I still feel the yarn, the sock mojo, but I think I'm rebounding a little bit with just like, I have like massive, my ADHD is definitely showing up in how I'm just like I'm squirreling from one project to another. And I don't know if I've, other than gift knits, no, I did. I started a jaunty shawl just because I wanted to see if this particular yarn, if you remember back to August, actually, this would probably be maybe September, right before Disney. I had gotten back from Washington, and I talked about how when we went to Seattle, I did go and stop at the, what's the place in Seattle? Public Market, blinking. Um, Yarn Dragon, not the brick and mortar, but the his small little shop there at I'm blanking on the name of the place. I'm sure you know what you're all going, if you know, it's this, Michelle. Um, yeah, it was that. Wasn't it like, I think it's like, yeah, camel? Wasn't it like camel and camel blend or something? I was like, God, I have baby camel. I think it was like baby camel. And it was a rainbow. You remember, right? You totally remember all the yarn I buy. Anyway, I had started to make, just to start something with it, because I was like, I bought it, I'm going to start it in the car. I think I started like a drifter or something like that, which is not the right thing to use that kind of yarn for, number one. But I was like, I thought this is dumb. And I hadn't gotten very far on it anyway. I mean, shocker. I was like, why don't I just rip this out and start a jaunty with it? You know, a light fingering, it's pretty, it's not lace, but it's like a light fingering, I think. And it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't have like this much done, but one night I was like, let's just get this started and see what happens. And I was like, yeah, I like the way that the colors knit up. They're kind of striping up in an interesting way. You know, once it gets a little wider, we'll see what happens. But it's so soft. And actually, it's making a thicker fiber because it's a half fisherman's rib. So um, I think compared to what, how that like really gartery, lacy fabric of a drifter shawl, I like this better because it's like, really taking that camel merino. I think it's a camel merino blend, I think, and just making it squishy. It's awesome. Squishy rainbow, and I love it. So yeah, other than that, I have been just picking up things that were kind of already on needles and just kind of like footing to that and being like, I want to knit something for myself for a little while. Oh, I gotta knit a hat. I gotta get back to the gift knits. I really do need to start that fourth national parks hat. I really got to just kind of try to get back on task. I was also going to do the woo balls. I don't know when I'm going to do those. Maybe this weekend. Tom's talking about hunting again on Saturday. So anyway, that's fine. Hunt, and I will knit, and I will crochet. Maybe I need to. I need to get those woo balls done. But I did. This is the other thing that I did do is I did, even though I was like, oh, the ooey gooey socks. I have that yarn in my stash from a Ren Fair. And I was going to make socks. I don't need to buy yarn for ooey gooey socks. And then, yes, I did. Because Farmer's Daughter fibers. Well, okay. This was my justification. I think it's a great justification. 15% of the sales went to Sisters United. How? And I'm not saying that facetiously. I think that's great. So the pattern and the yarn, and also this yarn is Bear Paw Sock, Witchy Woman, and Aquarius. Duh. I love this sock. So I got this done over Thanksgiving weekend and finished it up in the car On the way home on Sunday, I did do the cuff down because I love a heel flap. Thought I was a toe up, two at a time magic looper. This one was on a 9-inch circular, and it's perfect. Finally, of all the socks that I've made. You probably couldn't hear that because the microphone's right here. But my cat is just yowling for me outside the door. I bring him in. I mean, he probably won't get up on camera, but I'll bring him in. Let's see what happens. Maybe anyway. ADHD. Anyway, the ooey gooey sock, man, knit it. Knit it if you got the yarn. Okay, so I don't know what happened here, and I think if I do a little surgery, I can just fix that little bleh that happened right there. But let's look at this side because I'm just gonna wear that on the inside. This is gonna be the left sock, I guess. Okay, so this welt, I actually in the two, I've only started one of the sweaters that I have yarn for because I have yarn for two of these sweaters. And now that I've knit the sock, and I've started two cowls as well. So I've gotten through this part on the cowls, and it is just the freaking prettiest, coolest little whimsical. I just love it. It reminds me kind of like a jester, like the collar on. Oh, I just love it with the belt. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. And if I'm not new to colorwork, but if you like this one, as well as Pretty Boxes. Oh my God, her name just went right out of my head. Um, both of those are really good, and they're both kind of just like very geometric, or like not a lot of intricate, like a lot of this stuff. Just fun, um, really simple shapes and stuff. Colorwork pattern for somebody who's just starting out, but she's got it on a cowl. Now she's got it on socks, and try your hand at it. But so I haven't gotten to the welts yet on the neckline of the sweater. Bitch. Maybe because it was just so, and I'm pretty sure it's on the sleeves too, which I'll do regardless if it's a pain in the butt or not, because it's just so cute. It really is cute. Like it's worth the just the fretting over, but just getting that little welt like stitched. It's just, I think it's because it was just a small circumference area, maybe. So maybe on the neck of the sweater, it's not going to be quite as bad. Look how nice. It's so tidy, except for the right here, which I don't know. I really don't know, but I really do think I can come in there and just kind of like almost like duplicate stitch to tack that little gremlin down. But yeah, I can't say enough. And when I put it on to make sure that it fit, I was like, oh, best fitting sock ever. So I have to make sure that the other one isn't just like the floppy one. That would suck. I haven't had a problem yet with the other socks. If they're a little too big or whatever, or a little too just a hair snug, but they'll do because they kind of stretch out and form to your foot. So far, that's been consistent sock to sock. Like I really can't wait too long. Cannot let too many suns go down on the second one of these because I want the other one to be. I don't want it to be like, oh, the other one is like clown sock. But I just can't stop looking. I love it. I love it. And I actually think, I don't know if I'm going to block it. I think the first time it's going to soak is when it needs to be washed for the first time, because my blocking, I have found all those socks that I made in September and October, the two that fit the best are the vanilla sock, not the DRK everyday sock. I have some further research to do on the DRK everyday socks. Those are, I mean, as snug as a 2x2 rib sock you'd think would be because of the negative ease, they are the floppiest. So again, I think I either need to go down a size or down a needle size again. Um, and they're not unwearable. They're perfectly wearable. Um, but for example, I think if I had that sock on with a boot on, like I have my lined winter boots, and I pulled the boot off, that sock would probably stay on my foot. The other ones that are just nice and snug and maybe just like could have been a hair bigger, not much. It'd be hard to get it a hair bigger and not get it just a little too big. And probably stay on. The DRK everyday socks pop off. They just come right off with the boot. They're just like no problem. I mean, they're floppy, floppier than a 2x2 rib should be. There's not enough negative ease. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't know if that's a function of blocking as well. Stretched them out just enough. They do look. I mean, they don't have that like weird, if you know what I mean, shape to the toe anymore. But which is good. Uh, but yeah, like the negative ease is gone. And I think even my Scarecrow Fest ones, you guys, the ones with the yarn that I love so much, I blocked those, and I blocked them. Those are the ones I blocked on my new sock blockers, which are just wood sock blockers, solid oak sock blockers that have like a triple moon cut out. They're super nice, but they're not like. Well, I mean, like even I have like the plastic ones; those don't, change or whatever. Stretched out a little. I'm hoping that when I soak them the next time I just lay them out, maybe they'll. Because even those, and I thought for sure that those would be the ones that, because I made those after I made the ones with the knit circus yarns, the ones that's like the candy corn colors, and then the other ones like Maleficent colors. Because again, you remember all the things that I made and what colors they are, and yeah, sure you do. But sorry, um, those I think one pair I blocked with sock blockers and one pair I hung. Because I think one pair I hung originally and then I re-blocked and put them on a sock blocker, and the other one I just hung. And I feel like the sock blockers stretched them out. But I really thought, oh, it'll be fine, and maybe I'm very sad about the ones with that Scarecrow Fest yarn because that was so pretty. And I think they still have some, so part of me is like, get another skein and make another pair. Because I do love that yarn. I would totally do that because I love that yarn so much. So maybe what I should do is just rewash, hang to dry instead of putting them on the blockers. See if they down a little bit again, fit better, not be so floppy. And if they are, maybe I can still get another. Also, my the curio socks from last year that I did for the Andrea Maury Thanksgiving thing. I showed those too. They're like a toffee brown, or actually they were made. I think they were Mad Mardigan, so like an orangey brown. They're super floppy. And did I block those? I I might have put those on sock blockers. I'm thinking with the sock blockers. I think I'm either a not block the sock person, which I'm not blocking. I'm not going anywhere near my sock blockers with those ooey gooey socks. Are you kidding me? Not after the Scarecrow Fest. DRK Everyday Yarn sock fiasco for blocking. I would be super sad if I was like, these fit perfectly, and then I block them and I'm like, yeah, what happened? Did my feet shrink? Because yeah, I do really love those socks. So they're fun. They did feel a little bit like a slog, but I mean, I did get them done in a weekend, you know, where I wasn't, and it was a weekend where I mean, I knit. If I was sitting, I was knitting pretty much, but not like some weekends where I could really hit it hard. Like if I was at a retreat or something, probably could have gotten partway through the next sock. And 100%, if they were a DK weight, I would have gotten through too. 100%. But they did feel semi-sloggy once I got past the color work, because you got the top and then the freaking welts were just like, don't talk to me, I'm welting. Um, thank goodness it was only two, because after the second row, I was like, oh, I don't do that again for the whole rest of this. But then once I got through the color work at the top and got to just, actually the heel comes along fairly. I think it was mostly just the foot. After the heel flap, go back to the main color. It did feel like a little bit of a slog to get to the toe. But I mean, like I said, looking back, I got it done in a weekend, and not like I knit quite a bit, but we were visiting and doing other things and going and seeing friends and out and about a little bit, and so I wasn't knitting as concentratedly as I can when I have a long weekend where I don't have a whole lot to do and I'm not visiting with people. Um, so yeah, I think I'm getting to be a little low energy today at the end of the day here, and I'm starting to be like, and then oh, I'm filming an episode. Oh, I have to be awake. Um, okay, to the topic that I was like, I just completely that topic got away from me. Come back. I started saying last year's goal was the sock thing. And I think even though I didn't do a sock a month, I got a lot of socks done. I mean, I think I got, what did I get? Like, I mean, by Christmas, if I get at least one person's pair of socks done for Christmas, I will have probably knit 12 pair of socks completely, totally, altogether. So that's awesome. Even if it wasn't like January, February, March, April, May, I got like a crap ton of them done all at one time in 2 months. It's okay, got them done. I've started thinking about goals for 2026. They are lofty. I'm setting the bar high this year. And I would really, really, really like to know, in the spirit of stashing down, even though it's an ironic knitting chat at this point, but I actually would like to be, I'm going into 2026 with the intention of wanting to be better. Knowing that there's going to be things like sheep and wool. Actually, in April, if Will ends up getting cast in Into the Woods, when the community theater's out in Pullman, planning to go out there in April, and I'm kind of hashing a plan to drive out so that I can bring back the things that they aren't going to store but don't need between the middle of April and the first part of May when they're coming home after finals, and that way they can maybe fly or train back and not have to bring a bunch of stuff with them, because I will have taken a bunch. Plus I'll take bins out to them also that they don't have in their rooms right now, so they can use to store the stuff they're leaving in Washington over the summer. So that's why I'm thinking about driving back out there, and I may be doing it by myself. That doesn't get a whole lot of knitting done on a trip where I know I can get a ton of knitting done. So there's that. But what I'm planning on doing is making pretty much that same trek out there through South Dakota, actually staying in Great Falls. So I have on the morning, as long as I want to, at the Farmer's Daughter Fibers. And then keeping going and heading on out and going to Bellingham and staying in Bellingham for a night or two and going to Spin Cycle, making kind of like a yarn crawl. And I just found out about another place today. I'm gonna forget the name of it. It's basically a yarn shop that I think it actually might be closer to Bellingham than Seattle, because this is outside Seattle. And then I saw something where it's like, or Bellingham, it's just like, I think it's on whatever the island. There's one island out there that I feel like I've heard like Andrea Mowry talk about when they were out there for Flock. Why can I never remember things? Amazing that I can remember my name or do my job. Right, Flock Festival, the one that I missed while I was out there, it was like happening while we were out there, and I was like, oh, there's a major yarn festival happening, and I gotta go to Pullman. Um, anyway, I think it's actually closer to Bellingham, so I may have to like look into that. Although it sounds like they have really awesome, cool holiday drinks this time of year, so maybe I'll have to do another December-ish trip next year and visit them out there and like get that for a. They said if you get there early enough, they don't run out. They like serve the drinks with like little knit sweaters or something on them. Anybody else seen this? I just saw it on the Instagram today, and I think I googled it. What I should have done was tagged it, so I had it saved. But it wasn't their site; it was like a travel site that like said, "Hey." But I was like, a yarn shop with a speakeasy. That needs to be on the trip. I don't know. So I may go down through on the way back to Pullman and hit Seattle. But the point of the matter is, I'm going to take a little extra time, drive out, hit Farmer's Daughter, hit Spin Cycle, go back to Pullman, see Into the Woods a couple times, drive home. And probably retrace my steps. So, if there's like, there was that one thing and I probably should have gotten while I was a Farmer's Daughter Fibers, I'll probably stay in. I'm going to stay in that place in Pierre, South Dakota again. I think I talked about the big, used to be the mayor's mansion or the governor's mansion or something like that. That we stayed the very first night. I'm going to stay there. That's if, I think they have good chances, Will and Anaya, of getting parts. So, but they don't audition until I think February. So I gotta wait a little longer to find out if I'm taking a trip out there. So we were talking about goals for 2026. Wow. The ADHD is strong with me today, I'll tell you that. Yeah, what are my goals for 2026? Let's go there. Editing videos, learning to do that. So I can take these big embarrassing pauses out. What's a little jump cut here and there among friends. Anyway, and also I'm really inspired by another vlogger on YouTube that I have started watching, the Naughty Knitting Granny. Shout out to you, Granny, if you happen to catch my podcast. She is also adult diagnosed ADHD and autistic. I love her. Like, I'm fascinated by just watching her. I just love her energy. She's a crocheter, which is awesome because I'm a knitter and she's a crocheter. So that's all cool. But like I relate to her energy and I relate to, sometimes she drops words too and it's just like, and I'm just like, take your time, girl. Take your time. I get it. Like, if you need 5 minutes, just sometimes I feel like I know where she's going and I'm trying to pass her the word, but she, was filmed sometime before I'm watching it, so it's not working. But yeah, I love that. So anyway, goals for, and she edits. She like actually puts like strings kind of like little snippets together into one video, one whole episode. Which I don't think I would do, but I kind of do want to put in like, be able to be like, when I this and that and whatever. And then like if I'm like, I can't think of that person's name, and then I can be like, it was this. Yeah, so editing. That's not really knitting related, but adjacent. So knitting goals. Okay. Getting back to sweaters, specifically sweaters for people. I told Carter I didn't know what to get him for his graduation. I want to get him something good, but I was like, I could get him a sweater. He's probably gonna need to go to grad school or something and like get a PhD before he gets his undergraduate sweater gift. So anyway, that's kind of like still in the what do you want and what colors and whatever phase. So I know that that's kind of like probably further down the queue because I don't exactly know what I want, what he wants, and we have to talk about it. But so maybe his is like this time next year he's getting it. We'll see. I did get some yarn in when I went to Washington. I went back out to Washington. I don't know if I said that or said I was going to do that to see Will and to see Anaya in their like musical theater choir concert. Oh, it was outstanding. It was so good to see them perform again and spend the weekend hanging out. And she had this just a sweater on, like a store-bought sweater. I was like, God, that looks like a ranunculus. Like it just reminded me of that, like kind of like a sort of a puffy sleeve, and it was a little. She had it was a little cropped, so it wasn't super long, and just so it had like an open pattern at the top, a little not lacy, but like kind of like some larger eyelets. And I was like, I have not had a draw to do a ranunculus sweater, but I've been thinking about what kind of sweater would Anaya maybe like, and I was like, okay, everybody's been like all about the ranunculus sweater for so long, and I haven't heard a single person that's knit it not go, it was so great to knit. And I'm like, why? What was so great to knit about it? There's something like everybody loves it. So I'm going to try it. So I got her some, she just picked out some yarn. There was a yarn store there in actually Moscow, Idaho. Moscow, Idaho. I'm forgetting the name of it. Anyway, it's a Cascade. It's like a wool acrylic blend. Cheapest sweater quantity I've ever bought. They were like $10 a skein. Yes, please. And it only takes like, I think she only, for her size, it was only like 4. Yes, please. So that's on the docket for 2026. I already have yarn, a sweater quantity of yarn to make a sweater for Will. And I think I'm going to make him, I think I decided on a Pierre sweater by Stephen West. And it's going to be like I'm going to fade it somehow. I think what I have with like the Malabrigo sock cakes that like gradiate, and then something else in there too, or maybe they're all just the gradient cake. Yeah. Anyway, I have to look, but I'm just gonna like make it kind of gradient in and out or whatever, and do it. I think I decided on the Pierre, and there's one what's the one that's like the Pierre? I don't remember. If I get savvy, I'll put it in the down below. Anyway, I'm thinking probably the Pierre, something a little form fitting, a little metro, maybe we'll see. And it's blues. So I've had that sweater quantity for him for a little while, so I'll do that one. I gotta figure out something to do for Emma for a sweater. I owe her a sweater. I have not knit her a sweater. I bought yarn for her for a sweater. I forget the name of it again. I made one for myself. It kind of went through a bunch of us made it here. It got real popular. I still see it kind of popular. Every once in a while, I'll see it pop up. And then I've seen a couple other sweaters that look very, very similar to it. I think the designer is what Lydia made. And I think that they have done some updates to the pattern since then. I wish I would have gone with different colors. I got a wild hair when I jumped on the bandwagon when everybody else was knitting it, and I got colors that were like a good idea at the time. I really wasn't thinking about what I would probably wear. It's not my colors. And there's something about the sweater, the shoulders. It's a raglan, but it's supposed to fit with negative ease. It's a short sleeve. And on mine, it just goes like this. The sweater, the sleeve just beat. I got gauge. I'm hoping that maybe the update to that pattern has to do with that. I don't know. I'm not sure if anybody else had a problem with that, but mine just totally goes. If I have to constantly keep pulling it out because the whole yoke just goes like this, and I probably just made my sorry if I did. Yeah, I don't like the way it fits at all. I never wear it because I chose bad colors. Like I'd probably deal with keeping it, pulling it down, and maybe now that I've lost some weight, it won't like all the time. So maybe, but the colors, think I need it. Maybe I should just see if Anaya can wear it. Because on her, it'll be bigger. I'll ask her if she wants to try it. Either though. I think it would probably be okay on a small person with maybe some like narrower shoulders than mine and like not as thick on top. And then maybe at least it's not gonna go. Anyway, I was gonna make her one of those. She has gotten the curse of my upper body expanded since then, and I think I only bought like 3 skeins of yarn. That wouldn't be enough, most of us, even for a short sleeve. So first of all, I don't want to make that sweater for her anymore. I'll probably just use that yarn for something else. Yeah. So she's also in that like, there's a sweater. I see a sweater in your future. I don't know what it is. So, what else? And other than that, my sister-in-law has wanted one, and I don't remember the names of the dinosaur motif sweaters. Threatened to make one of those for her. She loves dinosaurs. That's really not on my docket, but I mean, if I get cruising, maybe. Really, what's on my docket is like 4 or 5 sweaters that are on needles right now that I need to just frickin' finish. And also, like, I want to make a couple more of those tees this summer. I want to finish my spin for the other Foxy Lady tee, the one that I did that was a test knit. I have yarn in there for a halibut that I got at Rhinebeck last year, 2024. So I want to really pull back and get to a couple of gift knit sweaters that I already have yarn for, and finishing sweaters that are on needles, finishing sweaters I have yarn for already that I want to do, like the halibut. Yeah, and get to those, get on them. Yeah, and keep knitting some socks along the way and other things, and really just, yeah, I have sweater quantities for stuff that's popped up, like well, I have the Nebula on needles and finish that. I have Odang for the broom sweater by Andrea Mowry. Let's jump on that one. I have that Farmer's Daughter fiber stuff that I with the cute with the collar and the little, the one that I showed that a while back. You remember? I don't remember what episode that was, but it was sometime after Disney, I think. Anyway, yeah. So let's get into those sweaters and tops that I had to burn. We're burning a hole in my pocket to just get a hold of and get yarn for immediately when I saw them. What was the other one that's by Andrea Mowry that I got? Like, it's probably a couple years old now, but I got yarn for it immediately. I think that might have been the first thing I got from Farmer's Daughter Fibers. I can't think of the name of that one. Just how important it was to jump on it immediately. But I saw that yarn in there the other day, and I was like, oh yeah, I think it's another short sleeve, and I think that one is the what's the name of the Farmer's Daughter fiber that's partially cotton? I put a bunch of stuff down in the down below in the description. Yeah, so sweaters from the stash, sweaters and tops from the stash. Getting on some gift sweaters again. Socks along the way. Basically it's gonna be about whips, and particularly sweater whips, but like, I mean, I think we're talking about stashing down here, people. Oh, and the sea glass sweater. Get on that as well. But hey, let's start with the ones that are already on needles and maybe the sea glass sweater. I really want to do that pretty bad. Oh, and then also the one that I'm gonna do with Sugar River. I think I showed you guys this stuff. I think I did. This is for the, I don't know, the pieces and parts sweater. That's not what it's called. I'll put that in the description. These guys. Oh my God, this is like a magic sweater. It is Cloud. Oh, can you see that? Is it backwards? No. Cloud by Lang. And what is this? This. Oh, it is merino and merino nylon. Yeah. Merino extra fine superwash. It just is one of those where you can see what's on the outside, but you don't know what's on the inside. But it's just like a lovely, it just makes a lovely sweater that you just want to throw on when it's 54 degrees in your house. Not picky at all. That yarn is soft. It knits up quick because it's thick. And it's kind of a knit along, so, you know, that. I'm set. I have everything I need for 2026. This one has really been a crazy ride that you needed to have your seatbelt on for, and no one told you that at the beginning of it. Sorry about that. It's been an hour and nearly 10-minute roller coaster of the inside of my head. Okay. Now that it's dark outside, you can totally just see my ring light situation here. I'm gonna end this crazy thing. I'm really curious to see, did I just spend over an hour and no one can hear me because this thing crapped out? I still see the green light on the thing that's plugged into my phone. So hopefully it's still working, because I think as long as that's plugged into my phone, this gotta be working, or I'm just, and you're like, that looks like fun. I don't know. All right. Since I can't seem to string a thought together for very long, I'm gonna end it here finally, because it's just a crazy ramble at this point. So hopefully you got some laughs, had some fun, and if not, that's okay too. Anyway, it's getting real awkward at this point. Carter, let's talk about editing. That should be goal number 1 for 2026. Anyway, get out there and get your fiber on, and talk to me in the comments. I'll see you soon.